Hello, I'm Josh Boker. Obviously, you're watching the Peach Pitch. Is that what we called it? And it's a music review channel where I review music, I think. Today, we're talking about the new album from Squid. It's called Bright Green Field. This is the new album, the debut album from the UK art punk, post-punk, whatever you want to frickin' call it, band. It's called Squid. Squid. So Squid have been around for a little bit. Squid have been around for a little bit, kind of combining these elements of like punk rock, experimental rock, noise rock, electronics, jazz, ambient music, you name it, it's on here. They're kind of a weird offshoot from all of these. This sort of sprawling scene that just kind of came out of nowhere. All of these bands like Dry Cleaning, Squid, Black Country New Road, Black Midi, Shame, they all kind of came out this year with great new music. And I would actually call this scene, it's kind of more art punk and more, oh hey Shelby, post-punk. I would say even post-Brexit. It's kind of apocalyptic, lyric-wise, thematically. It can be pretty dark at times. Also kind of describing a lot of industrial, on the industrial side of things. All these bands kind of bring something new to the table. Squid being one of them. I think Squid is one of the more unique groups out there. Most notably, they signed to Warp Records last year, which is, if you don't know Warp Records, they're a UK-based label that's been around for quite a few decades and have provided some of the most eclectic, unique, thought-provoking, outside-of-the-box, cutting-edge material from the likes of experimental music, electronic music, indie rock, you name it, a lot of different variations of it, hip-hop too. I could talk about Warp all day in another video if I want, but these are some examples of albums that I love that are from the label. Just a lot of variety and a lot of really cool stuff. And Squid being one of those groups, I didn't really know much about Squid before. When they signed to Warp Records, that's when I found out about them. They released a single, Broadcaster in Sludge, last year, and Sludge was one of my favorite songs of the year last year. It was a pretty cool song, kind of showcased a lot of their talents into one tune, and I really appreciated the sort of jazzy, sporadic percussion, the groove-centric rhythms and melodies. What really makes Squid stand out are the progressions, the very progressive elements that go into really unique territories and can stretch out into long pieces, long songs. Lead singer and drummer, Ollie Judge, which is really cool that the lead singer is the drummer of a band. You don't really see that much these days. But Ollie Judge's kind of yelpy, shouty delivery, it's pretty cool. It kind of sounds like amateurish, a little kid-like, kind of like, Mom, get out of my room! Very charismatic and full of personality. This band focuses directly on grooves, kind of like a dance or electronic act. They really have that focus. That's kind of what stands them apart from other bands in the art punk, post-punk, post-rock genre. Bright Green Field is the debut album. There's a lot of hype, a lot of build-up behind this thing. I was really excited about it. Yours truly was very pumped about it. This thing is awesome. This thing is pretty fantastic. It's really cool. It's full of twists and turns. It's definitely one of the biggest albums to come out of this year. And another notable thing is Dan Carey has produced this record, who has worked alongside with Black Country New Road and Black Midi. You can just see all the connections here. All the dots are being connected. It's full of dark themes. It's very adventurous and fun. And the track listing is pretty diverse too. Some of the tracks are more straightforward, like the intro track GSK. It's pretty short, 3 minutes, and kind of guitar centric, and has these nice horns that are scattered throughout the track. And then some are more eerie and off-putting and kind of difficult to listen to, like the soulful global groove that's very slow paced and really intense and brooding, which actually is probably my least favorite track on the entire record. Maybe because I haven't given it enough time, but so far I just like the more intense, the more groove driven and faster paced tracks so much more. Boy Racers, as fun and catchy and immediate as it is, its first half, the second half it just ventures off into this weird droney ambient piece that's I totally did not see coming. I love that about this record. It's full of these twists and turns and these progressions that you think it's going one direction, but then it just swerves into another. Narrator is the lead single, and it's an 8-minute rager that builds up towards its finish with its noisy screeches and screams from Martha Skye Murphy, who's a guest vocalist on this track. Overall, it really shows what this 5-piece band can do if you just listen to this track alone. Throughout the 8 minutes, it really does a lot of different things. Documentary Filmmaker is this very cinematic, euphoric tune that's a little bit slower paced and can start out pretty quiet and sparse with its instrumentation. Kind of a cool down as well, even though it has this blasts of noise that spurt at you unexpectedly. But I would say lyrically it's probably one of the more derivative and unnecessary moments on the record. It's very, very plain and simple, and so is the repetition of the singing too and the melodies. It can get a little derivative when Ollie Judge kind of repeats these, it gets cold in the winter, it gets warm in the summer. It's just kind of, after hearing it a bunch of times, it's kind of derivative, but still it's a cool moment on the record. 2010 is a tropical influenced funk that is groovy and fun. It's kind of this island pop take that I did not expect the band to do, but it works out pretty well. And also there are these moments of just shredding guitars, pummeling guitars that come at you that are pretty cool. Peel Street is this exciting, electrifying punk rock tune that is, I would say, immigration themed. It kind of, the chorus is where were you when the ice came to town? You don't remember? It's a cool track. It has a lot of solid grooves that are punchy, fun, vibrant, fiery, and glitchy. The immediate punk-centric moments on Paddling and Pamphlets are two of the best tracks on the entire album. Paddling has the best hooks and guitar licks, and Pamphlets has the best progression. It's honestly, its progression throughout the track has this amazing climax at the finish, which is the closer of the record. And overall, these two tracks are the best moments, catchiest moments. And there's a couple interludes on this thing as well. Wouldn't say that they're necessary, and I don't even know if they really add much to the record. Honestly, they're kind of just quick detours that, as much as they're kind of nice to hear, I wouldn't say they're completely necessary. The overall production and sound of Bright Greenfield is very vivid and really beautiful to hear, and it's loud, punchy, in your face, and it's pretty advanced. For a debut record, this is a very impressive record to hear. Performance-wise, production-wise, lyrically too, for the most part, and Overall, Squid are a very exciting band. I love this thing. It's super fun. Highly recommend it. And all the hype and build up to this thing is well deserved, because this album's for sure worth your time. It is a massive record that is very memorable, and I could see a lot of people loving the heck out of this thing, including myself, because Bright Green Field, I want to roll down that hill, not with the sharp metal things that are popping out in the outline of a human. I don't want to roll onto that. I want to roll like around it, you know? I want to frolic in it and roll around in it while listening to this album. Long story short, if I had to rate this thing, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. This thing is great, fantastic, groovy, fun. Out of all these groups that I'm mentioning in this young, vibrant, post-Brexit scene, I think Squid are one of the more original bands and one of the more exciting and unpredictable bands too. And I think the talent is just clearly there, clear as day. And I think from the first, EP or two that they've put out, they have really grown as a band in the past few years. Like, this band sounds way better now, and I'm glad they signed to Warp too, because it is such a fitting record for this label. It's very cutting edge. I think it's one of the most cutting edge and exciting punk records, or electronic, post-punk, whatever you want to freaking call it, records of 2021. Check it out, baby. From what I've lost in my hairline, I've only grown in my love for music. The Peach Pitch. Thanks for watching. See ya.